The blame game within the Republican Party is already in full swing, and a majority of fingers right now seem to be pointing in one direction, at former President Trump. So the big question is, will Tuesday's election debacle actually jeopardize his hold over the party in a way that none of this did?
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
He just said it's not Russia. I will say this, I don't see any reason why it would be.
It's one conversation that I had with the president of Ukraine that was perfect.
Then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute.
We're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength.
All of that to say, there's been a lot that has been going on with Trump, and not even a violent insurrection on the Capitol really prompted lasting, recriminations for him. And also, Mal, it seems to me that the issue isn't so much what Republican leaders think, it's really what Republican voters think.
Yes, if Republicans finally pull away from Trump, it'll be because they believe that the base is no longer with him, that they believe he no longer is politically advantageous for him. I don't know if that's going to actually be the case. If past his prologue, maybe we won't see it, but we have started to see some cracks, at least behind the scenes. There's a lot of finger pointing at Donald Trump, but at the same time, you still have a lot of MAGA voices out there now trying to blame Mitch McConnell. You have Elise Stefanik, the number 3 Republican, coming out and endorsing his 24 bid. So I'm not sure there is going to be a full-out reckoning just yet. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it feels like the whiplash is already happening, and Teflon Trump is coming back.
You wrote in Politico, the Trump backlash may already be fading.
Yeah.
We've seen this movie before. Access Hollywood, anyone?
We absolutely have. I mean, look, the Murdoch empire obviously came out, conservative-leaning media pointing the finger at Trump. You saw gun rights groups say, that their voters or their members, they're no longer looking at Trump, they're looking at DeSantis. You saw people like Chris Christie go on the record and say this is all because of Trump. We're losing big because of Trump. But you're already seeing people, Mel just mentioned, in the Senate. The public conversation in Congress right now is not about Trump being a problem with the party. It's about these conservatives and MAGA Republicans pointing the finger at their own leadership. People like Rick Scott, people like Ted Cruz saying McConnell is the blame or McCarthy is the blame, et cetera. And so if that sort of come to Jesus moment is going to happen, it's clearly not happening yet in Congress, where leadership is currently being blamed. Yeah.
One of the things about Trump and the Republicans, this is the problem, right? Their base loves him, but independent voters see things like this Truth Social post that he did this week. Young Kin, now that's an interesting take. Sounds Chinese, doesn't it? In Virginia, couldn't have won without me. That's a reference to Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin using basically a racist attack against him. Those are the kinds of things that independent voters seem to be saying enough already.
Absolutely. But it's the path through these primaries that is this horrible track for a team normal Republican. Let's face it, in Arizona, Trump's problem is he crushes their recruiting efforts to get candidates who can win. Arizona, they could have had Doug Ducey as the governor, could have run for Senate. Chris Sununu obviously would have won the Senate race if he had run in New Hampshire. In Georgia, they had several different people who they could have run instead of Herschel Walker. Doug Collins would have been a much better statewide candidate. But Trump crushes all of them, and you end up instead with the Blake Masters types. And until they figure out how to get him to either just stay out of these primaries, the 2024 should be a big year for them. But if they end up with another set of Blake Masters as their candidates, they might not win again.
And hey, by the way, Trump is going to be he's announcing a presidential bid on Tuesday. Yeah. He wants to be on the ballot in 2024. And the question now is, he's been attacking Ron DeSantis, he's been attacking Glenn Youngkin, two people who might pose a challenge to him in a primary. But the question is, will other Republicans who maybe don't feel Trump should be on center stage step up? Here's a tweet from Mike Pompeo this week that seemed to be a little bit of like a subtweet, if you will. Conservatives are elected when we deliver, not when we just rail on social media. Not really sure who he's referring to. Maybe he's referring to, maybe he's not. But it seems emblematic. A lot of Republicans want to push Trump away, but are not willing to actually do it themselves.
Yeah, and I think the problems for Republicans, the problems Republicans face extend beyond Trump. It's not only Trump. Some of the policy positions that Republicans champion are just not in line with where most Americans are. So that is an issue. But on Trump, I mean, the former vice president is somewhat right. Look at Governor Kemp. Governor Kemp, faced an onslaught of attacks from the former president, but he remained focused on delivering for his conservative base. If you are deeply conservative and kind of just ignore him, there is evidence that it can work out for you.
I mean, look at Ron DeSantis. I mean, he's basically been ignoring the Trump attacks. The question is, how long can he do that?
Yeah. I mean, Trump is just going to continue to go after him. And as for that Pompeo tweet, I mean, yes, underlining meaning there, but he didn't even name Trump. I mean, come on, you're going to need a lot more to take out Trump than that. And if all these Republicans have the same thought process that, okay, we've seen that Trump is very weak after this midterm cycle, and they all jump in, I mean, he's going to still keep that core base of 30%, and then the rest of the Republican Party could maybe be divided amongst Christie, Pompeo, all these people.
Which is what happened in 2016.
Exactly, and we see the repeat of history.
Yeah, and the Trump team is certainly hoping it will be a repeat of that history. They've already said it publicly. They think that this is just 2016 all over again, and he's just going to knock each and every one of them out. We'll see how the establishment, so to speak, learns from what happened then. But coming up next for us, a vindicated President Biden takes a victory lap. What Tuesday's results mean for his next 2 years in the White House.